become a major buzzword in today's tech industry. But what is UX design, and what is it UX designers actually do? UX design stands for User Experience Design. In other words, the design of experiences for users. An experience is any interaction someone can have with a product. And a user is, well, people like you. Your mom, your dad, your best friend, your technologically challenged roommate. A user can be anyone in the whole world. So, you can imagine designing an interaction for this many different people might be a challenge. This is exactly why UX design and UX designers are so important. The term user experience was first coined by a man named Don Norman in the 90s. You could call him the Don of UX design. Don Norman was an electrical engineer and cognitive scientist at Apple, back before Apple became the tech giant it is today. While working for them as a user experience architect, he developed and promoted a user-centered design process that placed the needs of the user at the forefront of product creation, a concept that was pretty unique at the time. While Don Norman wasn't the first one to begin experimenting with the concepts behind user-centered design, his approach was what helped it blossom into a fully fledged field, and with it came the birth of the UX designer. Products built specifically to cater to our needs sound great, right? But what does that actually mean? And more importantly, how in the world would someone design that? Probably the easiest way to explain this would be by looking at some examples. Think of something in your life that's super easy to use. So easy, you don't even have to think about it. Take a banana, for instance. A banana comes with its own case, making it easy to carry around without getting your hands sticky. The case even acts as a freshness protector, keeping the fruit inside from going bad before you eat it. As if that weren't enough, a banana even has its own built-in ripeness detector. When it's green, you know to wait a little longer. When it's brown, you know you've waited too long. When it's yellow, well, as Goldilocks once said, this banana is just right. Great job, buddy. But what about something that isn't so easy to use? Something with bad UX, and the type of product users may not be so happy to use. There are plenty of examples out there. Take Apple's Magic Mouse 2. Sure, it may function fine as a mouse, but if you ever wanted to charge it, you'd have to plug it in, on the bottom of the mouse. The location of the charge port makes it impossible to use the mouse as it's being charged, meaning you'll have to let it sit for an hour or two before you can use it again. Not a great design choice for most users, especially those that work in an office and can't charge their mouses overnight. UX designers act as advocates for their users. They research, iterate on, and test various design solutions, making sure the product is as easy to use as possible and actually solves a problem for the users. For instance, let's return to our Magic Mouse example. Perhaps Apple didn't think about how users might want to use their mouse while it charged, or perhaps they didn't research a large enough group of users to identify this potential problem. The mouse is a pretty revolutionary tool, but without the input of the actual people who will use it, the users, it could never reach its true potential, and it's the job of the UX designer to remind us of that. By interviewing and surveying mouse users all over the world, the UX designer could have learned about their charging habits and planned for a more convenient charging port before the initial designs were even drawn. But even if they missed it during the research phase, they could have discovered this issue through testing of low-budget prototypes. After receiving feedback, they could have then recommended changes and updates to the initial design for the next release. UX design isn't limited to tech either. Companies from every field are starting to realize the difference they can make in their products and services when they have a UX designer to speak for their users. Retailers, fashion giants, and even furniture companies are all beginning to embrace the principles of UX to help them produce products that solve problems for their customers, along with the customer service to match. UX design is all about helping people and solving problems. Think of a UX designer as a licensed simplifier, coming up with elegant, thought-free solutions to the problems of tomorrow. Whether that's designing the world's most convenient mouse, coming up with a hassle-free checkout method for your favorite online store, or even just making it easy to set your alarm in the morning, UX designers have got you covered. They make the world a more user-friendly place.
All right, awesome. So I hope you guys found that video helpful. Now we're going to talk about the difference between UI and UX. So UI stands for user interface, and it's about the interaction and communication between the user and the application and software. So user interface involves a product interface and how the surface looks and functions. Whereas UX, which stands for user experience, is about the interaction between the user and the product or service that they're working with. And this actually involves the experience a user has with the product instead. So both of these are designed while keeping in mind the user's needs, and they both depend on each other in order to create a successful experience. So an example of UI versus UX in application would be a login screen on an app. So for example, UI in this case would be about focusing on the typeface, the colors, how the interface of the login portion looks, whereas UX would focus more on the actual layout of the login screen, designing wireframes for it and prototypes to make sure that it is the easiest for the user. So here's some examples of what bad UX looks like. In this case, you can see there's like a fox mug and he has little ears right there. But when you're actually drinking from this mug, it could poke you in the eyes. So it shows how like it might be cute and aesthetic in reality, but the functionality of it is not great. So it shows how a bad example of UX is not always useful or functional in reality. And then here's another example. So here you can see the hallway sign, and you can tell by looking at it that you can't really tell the arrows what rooms they're pointing to, whether they're pointing to rooms 201 to 216 or 217 to 226 on either side here, which is another example of bad UX because you can't really tell what direction the room you need to go to is in. So overall, bad design is very noticeable, and well-designed products don't have any frustrations or complications.
Okay, thanks, Hannah. So now I'll be talking about the design thinking process. So this is basically an iterative, non-linear process that prioritizes the needs of the consumer. And it's a process that isn't only for designers, but it can be applied to many other fields like art, music, science, engineering, and business. And it's basically applying a human-centered technique to solving problems. And so good design isn't just about making things look pretty or making things look nice. It's about solving problems in a new way and really focusing on the user and optimizing people's experiences with technology. And when it's done well, it creates a lot of brilliant results and products that are pleasing to use. But when it's done badly, the products are unusable, and this leads to a lot of frustration and irritation. And so there are 5 steps in the design thinking process. These are 5 steps that work in chronological order, but there may be a need to go back to a previous step, and this creates a cycle of continuously working on a problem. And so in the design thinking process, there is the empathize and define phase, where you focus on the user's needs, problems, and come up with your own insights. The ideate phase is where you challenge your own assumptions and then create ideas for new innovative solutions. Prototype is when you actually start creating your solutions, and then testing is testing on your target audience that you're solving the problem for. And there may be a need to go back to each step of the process. So you may want to go back to the empathize phase because through the test, you might have learned more about the users. You may want to go back to the define phase because the test might have revealed new insights that may have like restructured the problem. And you may want to go back to the ideate phase because through the test, you may have come up with new ideas for solving the problem at hand. And so To give you a better idea of what each step looks like, this is what each step basically includes. And so during the discovery phase, which is the empathize and define phases, this is where you conduct research on the user and their opinions and feelings. You can also evaluate a website or app, and then conduct a competitive analysis to see what other people have done successfully. During the ideation, this includes a lot of creating potential ideas, but not entirely executing or elaborating further on these ideas just yet. And then the design phase includes more high fidelity visual design, where you start implementing more colors and creating mock-ups of the actual solution. And then lastly, you have validation, where you pinpoint areas of improvement, and this helps reassure the designers that they're heading in the right or the wrong direction. And so this is how design fits into the overarching product development lifecycle. Design is really helpful in helping the team understand the target audience and the direction of the product. And it also helps collaborate with other team members and iterate on the problem, and sort of be the lead for how the solution will turn out to be. And yeah. So now I just want to show you guys some more resources if you guys are interested in learning more about design. These are some of the most popular design tools that I've used in my past: Figma, Adobe XD, and Sketch. There's a link for learning common design patterns. And I typically use Nielsen Norman Group or UX Collective to learn about UX best practices and what's basically standard for different designs. And then learning about design systems has been helpful for me to understand how companies make sure that they follow a consistent pattern and adhere to that pattern all throughout their products. And then I've also done some of the daily UI challenges in order to help improve my UI skills and just get me better, just to help me improve with creating everyday screens. And yeah, so I want to introduce our design challenge for that we have, our very first design challenge, and we wanted to show you some of the worst design websites and encourage you guys to redesign some of them.
All right, so this first one here is called Link's Cars, and there's a link right there if you guys want to access it. It's a famous car leasing website run by Link Valentine, who appeared on Dragon's Den, and the website provides customers with the means to sift through over 15,000 car leasing deals provided by Link. And it guides them through the process with bespoke customer management service lingo. So you guys can take a look at this site. The design is very fun. You can click around and you can ask yourself if the site's easy for people to use and find the deals that they're looking for, and maybe why not.
And then next on our list, we have Craigslist. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. You're basically able to do all of the following verbs that are listed underneath. I've personally used it to list concert tickets that I was planning to sell, but as you can see, it's not very intuitive. It's not very fun to look around in. And yeah, you guys can check it out and see what it's like. And so yeah, diving deeper into our design challenge, keeping the target audience for each website in mind, how would you redesign these websites? What's currently working and what isn't working with the current design? And how would you change it? And what we want you guys to do is to either create a list suggesting what changes should be made, or you can even create a rough sketch to redesign the homepage of one of the websites. And this can be done like through pencil and paper or any of the design tools that were mentioned previously. And then we want you guys to email any of your suggestions, sketches, and redesigns to us at our email at uxterps@gmail.com. And we will be evaluating all of them, and the winner for the most innovative solution will receive a shout out on our social media and a feature for your solution. Does anyone have any questions?